Welcome in on a Wednesday, everybody. I'm Reed Cowan. A raging hurricane about to hit. Here's your headline. Milton is a monster. We are live where thousands right now at this very moment rush to get out before impact. You know, images to our monitors really make the case for an approaching catastrophe. Look at that. Milton is now swirling towards the Florida coastline right now at this very moment. We don't need to tell you often, but we are going to throughout this broadcast. There's a major threat to life. We're talking about wind walls, walls of water, both sure to hit. Words like devastation and catastrophe used more and more as Floridians brace for record rain and flooding. In fact, because of this, millions ordered to evacuate, many leaving their belongings right there in the streets. Everything you see destroyed less than 2 weeks ago by Hurricane Helene, people packing up sandbags, using heavy equipment to do what they can. The items you see in the top right hand of your screen, add wind to that, they become deadly projectiles and high winds. This video to our monitors from Fort Myers, Florida, and elsewhere across the state. Also, you're seeing businesses boarded up, but we got to show you this video to our monitors through the lens of storm chasers who took a wild ride right through Milton's heart. You can see it is bumpy up there. When they went through, one of the people on board that plane heard on the microphone Jessica saying the words, "Good God, this thing, it's a monster."
Monster. And I also want to mention there's a reason why that P3 is flying through the hurricane. It's to collect data so that we can have accurate forecasts, especially in moments like this, as they're gearing up for one of the strongest hurricanes that they're going to see in a century, just along the Tampa Bay shoreline, stretching down into Fort Myers too. We're already starting to see that activity move its way in. Tornadic activity in the forecast right now as Floridians gear up for what's to come within the next 12 hours. We have hurricane warnings, we have tropical storm warnings, flood warnings, and storm surge warnings. And that storm surge is definitely going to be deadly for our community members just along those shorelines as they're gearing up for a very, very rough night ahead. Now, here's our current tornado threat. This keeps updating throughout the 15-minute, 30-minute period as these storm cells continue to track north. These supercells continue to bring in heavy activity, not only with rain, but of course wind too. And that cyclonic activity will continue. Our current tornado threat showing about a 10% risk stretching from Fort Myers just south of Daytona Beach as this system continues to sweep its way in from offshore. This is an interesting hurricane for meteorologists for a lot of reasons. It went from a Category 1 to a Category 5 within 18 hours. Another thing to note too, it's the only Atlantic Category 5 with that southeast motion, and we continue to keep a close eye on this. Max sustained winds right now at 145 miles per hour, putting it at a Category 4. As it makes its way into landfall into the overnight hours tonight, it's expected to be a Category 3 with heavy, damaging winds all throughout those coastal communities. It sweeps over into Orlando into the early morning hours tomorrow. This is by 8 a.m. just south of Orlando, continuing to track out past Daytona Beach, out into the Atlantic, where it's going to cause storm surge for our community members over there. So we start off down in the south along the Keys, about 2 to 5 feet expected just along that shoreline. We continue to track north. This is my big concern right now. Community members near Fort Myers, stretching up into Port Charlotte, could see the brunt of this system with that storm surge sweeping in from offshore. We can see close to around 15 feet expected there. This would be the heaviest they've seen ever in record history when it comes to storm surge. And as we continue to track north, this is actually good news for Tampa Bay. This storm system continues to track a little bit south, meaning they're going to get less of the brunt of that system. However, we continue to track off into the east. Now along that shoreline, Daytona Beach, Jacksonville, all the way up into Georgia, they're expecting about 2 to 5 for the storm surge in those communities after this system moves over into the Atlantic. I'll have more on that in a bit, but for now, over to you, Reed.
All right, thank you so much. So as Hurricane Milton roars towards Florida, people who survived Hurricane Helene only weeks ago, they are looking right now to understand what their communities will be up against in the coming days. So let's bring in CBS News correspondent Tom Hanson. He's live in Daytona Beach. About a 5-second delay from my microphone to his earpiece. We want to let our viewers know about that and expect it. But Tom, earlier this week, you spoke to an administrator from FEMA. What did she have to say about how people can survive and what's the focus there?
Yeah, she mentioned, Reed, that she is very concerned with this fixation of just the categorization of these storms because that focuses on one aspect of these monster storms, which is the wind speed. Obviously, that is a dangerous dangerous weather phenomenon, but there is so much more that is also being hurled at the state of Florida right now. And I want to turn over here. You can even see we haven't even gotten near the brunt of the storm, and the sea is already turning choppy as it rolls in. It's been getting closer and closer to the seawall here in Daytona Beach. We've also been watching closely, Reed, the evacuation orders and the state of Florida. You know, if you go to disasterflorida.org, you can find out what the conditions are in your community and what you need to do. As we've been keeping an eye on this map, it is just getting redder and redder, which means that the mandatory evacuations are getting greater and greater. On this coast, I can see St. John's, Flagler, and Volusia County. Volusia County, of course, is where we are. Those other two counties are a little bit more north. But the FEMA director saying that these catastrophic events are multi-dimensional. And also an interesting thing about this hurricane, Reed, which is unique in many of these weather phenomenon, is that this is making landfall as a hurricane, as a major hurricane. It will be leaving land as a hurricane as well. So we might be on the side that's getting a little bit more shelter, where this perhaps is going to be reduced to a Category 1, perhaps a Category 2, which is still a very dangerous storm.
Right.
But people need to take it as serious as if the hurricane were making landfall here on the eastern coast, Reed. So certainly officials not mincing any words about what they think people should do, which is get out.
Yeah, run from the water, hide from the wind. And you know, that empty parking lot, when you see the angry seas there by you, that's really indicative that it looks like, at least where you are, people are doing that and they're heeding the warnings. So Tom, help us to understand what the threats are to both the western and eastern coasts of Florida. We know that those powerful winds are being seen. I even have heard of a funnel cloud over in the Florida Everglades. This is stirring up other problems in other places around Florida.
Oh yeah, well, let's walk through the path of this storm to better understand just how many different weather events can happen in a hurricane. What we're going to see on the western coast, where this storm is going to make landfall, that catastrophic storm surge that Jess was talking about, that is going to be life-threatening, unsurvivable, according to officials there and to the National Weather Service, for people sticking around in those zones, which could see up to 15 feet of storm surge. What we're already starting to see in the center of the country, where we were driving through yesterday, are tornadoes. We're also seeing them as far south as Broward County. So these are dangerous storms. A hurricane, if you want to think of it as a giant tornado, it also spawns miniature tornadoes that can cause serious damage on a moment's notice. And then over on this side, obviously the winds, the tornadoes, that also is of concern here. There is going to be storm surge. It's not going to be, or it's expected not to be, anywhere near what we are going to see on the western side, but on the eastern side there is still expected to be storm surge. What we are waiting to see and what we are tracking so closely, Reed, is the path of this storm. Is it going to hit north or south of Daytona Beach, which of course is a major metropolitan center here? This storm is also touching Orlando in the middle, and of course Tampa. So a lot of population centers this storm will be barreling through, and people should heed those warnings to get out or take cover, get to high ground, whatever they need to do to make the smart decisions and stay safe, Reed.
And such a reminder that all storm stories are really people stories. Our thoughts, our entire organization thinking about so many people, millions of people in that storm's path, as we start to see live and in real time the storm surge in those angry waters. Tom Hanson, you are my friend. My prayers are also with you that you are safe as you serve our viewers. Thank you so much for your live report. Be safe. All right, so news about evacuations bring the questions for thousands in Florida: where to go, how to get out. Think about this. Airports now, they're not an option. Several Florida airports shuttered. Hundreds of flights at this hour canceled. Many people running from Tampa going up the coastline to Orlando. But Orlando is also, as Tom just mentioned, they are going to be hit by the hurricane. And also, as Tom talked about, it's not going to be a wallop that will hit Tampa. By the way, Walt Disney World, Universal, Orlando, we know many of you visit those theme parks throughout the year, and you have that in your mind, your family memories. Well, the people who run those parks, they've shuttered it. They will remain closed tomorrow while they hunker down.